Wait,
All right, all right,
what's the
Mikey.
call?
Mikey, we here, man. Fact check that this podcast. This is
Yes,
today's
sir.
November 26th NFL Prize Picks Props. What we got going on,
Yes,
Mikey?
sir. What's up, man? You know what's up, man? It's your boy Two Tone here. We're gonna come in with some good props for you today. Now we have a few hits that we hit well on last week, and what we are attempting to do this week is we're going to be more focused on reception targets, which I only have one pick for, but more of rushing attempts and pass attempts, which I only have one for as well. So let's go ahead and start him off with Damian Pierce today, B. We have Damian Pierce today coming back off injury. They have him on a low 7.5 rushing attempts. Definitely going with the over here at 8 rushing attempts or more to get you a clear win on that bet. He did have an ankle injury, but he is now back fully healthy. He did practice fully all week in pads, so he is ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
They are playing at home versus Jacksonville.
Don't sleep on Jacksonville now.
No, Jacksonville is a great team, but we do have to establish a run game. We have a young quarterback in Stroud, right, who has a great offense, right? That he loves his receivers, and we're going to go over a receiver as well that we're picking in today. Let's move on to the next one. Jerome Ford today, facing off against Denver, who has the worst run defense in the league, top worst run defense in the league. Now, with Cleveland, they do run a duo running back system. They are going to run Jerome Ford, and they are going to run Kareem Hunt. We'll go over Kareem Hunt last. Jerome Ford is their main back. Last week, I did a pick on him for an over. He did complete that for me. So I've got Jerome Ford again today for more than 12.5 rushing attempts. With the Browns also having a backup quarterback, I expect them to rely heavy on the run game against a horrible run defense today. What do you think, B?
That sounds like a good pick. That makes plenty of sense. If the weather's gonna be good, they're not gonna be throwing the ball. So, they say that backup they're using. Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I think the 12.5 is going to be great for that. Now, a lot of people talk about you should never do less, or you should never do all mores and never any lesses on any of these picks. I do not believe in that. B, we ran a 5-pick last week for all more, and we hit every single one. So don't go off just what people say. Go off your gut feeling, okay? If you feel it, go with it. If you don't do it, all right? These are the best picks that we think are going to hit for today, though. Let's move on to Houston. Wide receiver Tank Dell. This is C.J. Stroud's favorite receiver, getting more average of around 13 to 15 targets a game. Now, we've got him on more than 8 reception targets today. This is their number one wide receiver. This will, I believe, be a little bit of a shootout. That's why we picked up Damian Pierce doing the 7.5 over on rushing. So this will be a low rush game, I believe. They will get at least 10 to 12 rushing attempts. Just don't mind that. They are going to run the ball, right? But they do love to throw the ball. We've got Tank Dell throwing or receiving targets, getting more only reception targets. He does not have to catch the ball. We are only aiming on this man to be targeted. And trust me, he will be targeted today. I do love the receptions. Receptions are hit and miss, though, because if the receiver drops the ball, then guess what? We will be short on those half a points. These half a points can kill you. So we're going with Tank Dell for more than 8 reception targets. B, how do you feel about that?
No, I think that's a good pickup. The things you said about it, I'll go with that as well.
Okay. Now, moving on next, we've got Tampa Bay facing off against Indiana. And now we have Rachaad White, who did have a knee injury this last week, and he is playing today. He will be starting. I expect they will be running the ball. Rachaad White with 13.5 rushing attempts. We are going with the over. Indianapolis's run defense is not the best. While they are not the worst, I expect Tampa to run the ball today. I believe they need to get a win. They want to stay in the playoff race. I believe they go back to fundamental football. I don't believe they're going to be doing a lot of pass heavy. They will throw the ball, of course. Having Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as your targets, I definitely believe in Rachaad White coming over the 13.5 rush attempts today. Okay. I think that's a big one, B. I think that's going to be one of our closer ones for the 13.5, but as a running back, he is averaging in most games more than 15 touches a game.
Yeah, I just the Buccaneers, they scare me, man. Like, they so inconsistent with Baker Mayfield throwing the ball and starting off real slow and then try to have to make a comeback. They running game being inconsistent all season. And, Rachaad White is the main back, but yeah,
yes.
I don't know.
It is going to be a tough one today for the Rashad White, I believe. It's going to be close, and that's why I believe that Tampa is going to come back with some sort of heavy run game today. I believe they are going to want to run the ball. If we break this down into sections, right, I love to break down the rushing attempts or reception targets. Okay, so we have 14, right? We need him to get 14 rushing attempts. So how many rushing attempts do we need to get a quarter, right? We need to get at least 3.5 rushing attempts a quarter. I believe Rashad White touches the ball 4 times a quarter each quarter of this game to get us our 14 rushing attempts today. More are over. So I think it's a good pick.
Well, we'll
I think
see.
we're looking at it.
We'll see.
He said, we'll see. Hey, never give up on two-tone. Two-tone will always lead you in the correct direction. Just look. We're going to get more than 4 touches a quarter. B said this is the tough one. Rico says this is the hard one. We will find out later today. Now let's move on to Desmond Ridder, the quarterback for Atlanta, coming back today. He has been benched the last 4 weeks, and he will finish the remainder of the season, according to their head coach. Now,
the head coach?
Yes, the head coach. I don't know what happened there. I just had a little felt good about that one. According to the head coach. Yeah, I felt good about this one. So, we did not go with the pass completions with Desmond Ridder today, but we are going with the passing attempts. I love this pick, right? Because I don't need him to complete the pass. I need him to throw the ball. And all I need him to do is for 1 quarter, throw it more than 7 times and just get me 7 throws a quarter. Right, let's break this down. We've got 4 quarters of play. All we need is 28 attempts. And you have to understand, if they are losing at the end of the game, they are going to be throwing the heck out of the ball, right? So let's go with the over.
Who is he throwing the ball to, though?
So we've got a couple of different options for him today. So he does have Kyle Pitts, right, who is, he's one of the biggest prospects that came in a few years ago for tight ends. He's not been that big show-up guy. He has been getting better as the year has gone on this year. I believe having Desmond Ridder back, yes, they will be looking for probably some check down passes, get the ball out of his hands quickly, let him get back to being comfortable. I know he's ready to play today, and he is excited, right? We also have, on the other end, with Atlanta, we do have Drake London, right? Drake London has been a turnout, I think, a little bit better this year than he was last year, and he's starting to get into a rhythm, I believe, with the Atlanta Falcons team.
Okay.
So no picks for Drake London or for Kyle Pitts. I actually do have a pick for Kyle Pitts. On another prize pick that I had placed for more. I believe I have less than 8 fantasy points for Kyle Pitts today. He will get less than 8 fantasy points, essentially holding out that he will not get a touchdown today, and he will have less than 50 receiving yards, roughly around that area. Right. That's what we're looking for, because Desmond Ridder's going to throw the ball today. I think that's a big thing.
That would be a less for me. I would have to go opposite. I think he's going to do less than 28 pass attempts.
Okay. 28.
I think he do less. I think he do less than 28.
B's going for the less on the 28. Interesting. So you don't believe he'll throw the ball 7 times a quarter, is what you're telling me.
Let's see. Let's move on to Kareem Hunt.
Okay, let's move on to Kareem Hunt. On to the next. All right, so we've got Kareem Hunt today. And we have him as an over today for more than 9.5 rushing attempts today. Again, we're not doing yards. We're not doing receiving yards. We're going for a more aggressive approach to prize picks, right? I'm not here on prize picks to waste my money. I want to pick the most simple stat lines I can pick, things that I know can be a for sure thing. I can't rely on receivers to catch the football. I can't rely on them to make that one-handed catch. But if they are targeted or they touch the ball on a rushing attempt, I can rely on that to be a proven stat, and it goes in as a win for us. That's what we're looking for. So we've got Kareem Hunt today, rushing for more than 9.5 touches, more than 9.5 rushing attempts today. This is what I was mentioning earlier with Jerome Ford. They do run the dual back running back system here in Cleveland. They are going against one of the worst run defenses in Denver today. So they will be running a heavy duo back. They do use them. What I've noticed with the Cleveland Browns, they are using Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford about every other series, right? So in some series, they're bringing them back for if they're getting a multiple first downs and they're getting a good drive going, they will use Jerome Ford for 2 rushes and pull Kareem Hunt in and use him for 2. So they are switching them out very often. I do like that. So I believe that keeps both running backs fresh, which will both get them the over today on touches.
Okay. And the very top pick was who? Because that one was cut off, right?
Yes, the top pick was Jerome Davis. I believe it's
my fault. Oh, we had a little technical difficulty. Mikey, you back?
Hang on.
You back? All right.
Yes, I am back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. So that was Jerome Davis.
Yes, there are little technical difficulties. Yes, so it's Dameon Pierce is the pick. Dameon Pierce is the pick for more than 7.5 rushing attempts today. So he will touch the ball 8 times. As you see, this is the entry we had for the Thanksgiving. Yes, B, I see you've pulled this one up here. So we had a 5-pick entry on a flex play. I do like the flex plays. I do like the power plays. Flex does keep you a little safe. You can win some money back if you don't hit all your picks, obviously. You can get double your money at least on a 4 out of 5. So what we have here is we had A.J. Dillon, we had Jamar Gibbs, we had Jack Fox, we had Ross St. Brown, and we had Jordan Love. As you see, last week we went with no yards, or for Thanksgiving we went with no yards. We went with no yards, no completions. All we did for completions was Jordan Love. I believe Jordan Love going into that game against Detroit, he was going to have to throw the ball and get some completions to definitely get the win. Obviously, Ross St. Brown being the number 1 receiver. Detroit punting the ball less than 3.5 times. I had actually assumed that Detroit was going to come out and win this game and drive downfield and not have to punt often. It was actually kind of the opposite. They were getting beat up so bad in the first half that they only punted a couple times. And then in the second half, they weren't even able to punt it because they had to come back and try and win the game. So they were going for it continuously on 4th down on their opponent's on their own 35, 45-yard line, which I thought was ridiculous. And obviously A.J. Dillon and Jamar Gibbs, two of the best, one of the best backs in the league. A.J. Dillon being the number 1 back, I believe, right now for Green Bay after Aaron Jones had sustained an injury last week and was placed on IR.
Well, as you can see, that's a nice hit right there on that flex play, man. Like I always go with the flex myself because the flex is a little safer. It's so sketchy and so close sometimes where your best option is the flex. It's less money, but you still got that safety net. So I always go with the flex. Unless somebody then gave you the surefire fire.
It's going to give you a surefire. If you don't hit, you still have an opportunity to win, right? And I think that's the big thing. We're here to win, right? We don't want to lose money. So I believe putting ourselves in a flex position allows us a better opportunity to win some money. And now I've played some power plays. I believe we have one here. I think there's another one that was a power play that we ran.
Let me see.
And it was good.
No, I don't have that one. But we'll put it up on the next one, so they'll see.
We'll put it on the next one, yeah, so they can see how a power play works.
Let's get this wrapped up so they can get these plays in. We had to give them.
Yeah, let's let them get their plays in.
So y'all heard it first here, man.
So
Two-Tone, tell them what they need to do to stay in touch with you, man.
Yeah, all they gotta do is you hit us up on our email. You hit us on our Instagram. If you want to get us into contact with us directly, DM for promotions. We're doing weekly picks, right? We're doing weekly run-throughs with even players. Sometimes we're going to be getting into some players and some other picks that we believe will be some good picks that we may not even pick. So, yeah, you hit us on our Instagram. Check out our podcast, obviously. Fact Check That Ish podcast. You know how it be, B. Yeah, let's get it.
And then stay locked in right here, Project Studio TV on YouTube. And, y'all heard it first. Two-Tone giving y'all the picks, man. He giving y'all the picks.
Let's get a win.
You get your
Let's get wins today.
Learning on while winning some money.
Social emotional.
We out of here.